The other one, what I do with the Enterprise Risk Quantification Institute, and that's the idea of doing risk quantification, understanding which method of quantification you're using, what method for the right risks as you don't want to do. I've seen a lot of organizations try to use super complex methods on absolutely every single risk. And if you're going to accept some of those risks this year, it's not worth doing all that extra math on. You may need to kind of do initial triage around it from a high level number perspective, but save the effort for the deeper things where you're going to get into investment. You need to go justify investment and things along the line. And then the right time, where are you in that risk management cycle? I'm one of the few people probably in the Enterprise Risk Quantification Institute that does say that ordinal scales and heat maps are okay. If you're like in the very early phases of just trying to survey an entire company and say, hey, tell me what your top 5 priorities are, that type of thing. That first triage thing has its place because maybe you surface something you hadn't seen before because people are very easily able to kind of go do some very quick stack rankings. Then you use that and go into your kind of your other phases of the risk management cycle. So just that original kind of assess or inventory phase, I don't have as much heartache using some of those more ordinal scale, less true risk quantification dollars, likelihood sense. One thing I look at too, making sure you're using the right method of risk quantification for the right risks at the right time. Another big article and something I've spoken a lot on in the past.
How big does an organization need to be when you actually start? Because I usually work in the SMB space, so we don't really get just really simplified as
You should
far as
that
quantifying.
it's like, but when you should always sit down, at least not a long conversation to have with any business, right? I never really approach it from a cyber perspective, even when I'm in manufacturing now. You can't go to an operator and really start bringing up cyber because it's not the first thing on their mind. Typically start the conversation was, when was the last time our operation was down, or when did we really lose money? Tell me about what that looked like. If you're in my world, somebody will say, we lost the line, it was down for 3 days, and we lost X number of dollars, and it was because Bob forgot to do an update on a machine or something. It wasn't even a cyber attack, but you get them to start talking about what those risks are down here in Louisiana, hurricanes, and maybe your business doesn't get by a hurricane, but you're shut down while everybody's out of town, kind of fleeing the event, the loss there. Well, how do you deal with that? How do you shut down operations, reconstitute operations if you have to look at it from that perspective? Just as an exercise, saying what are the things that could cause us to potentially have some type of material loss, and what are those ranges? And that's what, if you're dealing in risk quantification, and this goes back to Doug Hubbard, really kind of the initial person brought this into the space with Rich Ryerson, a method called calibrated estimation.